just missed the first or second gear shift. You'll hear one other time on this lap when I again missed the first or second shift. You have to be very careful in this gearbox. Those were the only shifts I ever missed, first or second, but I did it several times. Here we had a bit of a moment there. Didn't know where that guy was going, and don't understand why he wanted to go way over there to the left. It's part of the nature of practice. You've got to be quite careful about passing people. Here we approach Quarter Bridge. First real turn on the course. You got to be very careful here because often your tires aren't warmed up, and it's a place to be very steady. You can see we're using a 13,000 RPM red line. Up until this point in practice, we had been only taking it to 12,000, trying to be as conservative as possible with the engine. But at this point, I'd gained more confidence with it. And it definitely wants to rev. This is Union Mills here. Now from this point here, go for several miles with the throttle fully against the stop. It's one of the unique aspects of the Isleman. There's no other race circuits where you're going flat out for such a long period of time. You've been counting, you realize that I just shifted into 7th gear back there, probably because of 7-speed gearbox. Through Crosby here. Now we're going slightly downhill, approaching the Highlander pub, which is a place they used to do a speed trap in the good old days, one of the fastest parts of the course. They're probably doing in the neighborhood of 140 there. This is Grebe Bridge here. Quite a straightforward corner that you can see around it, and it's more like short circuit stuff. Now we're on the approach to Ballycrane. And sort of mentally, I think of this as the first section of the course. It's quite flat and fast. And now we go into a section that's more up and down and more closed in, and requires a lot of concentration here. This left here is Doran's Bend. It's a corner I found quite intimidating, and it's one I often think that I could have gone through there a lot faster after I've done it. Luckily, I had a few people in front of me there to give me a good excuse to back off. Now you see the yellow flag on the right. We have an oil situation. There's an oil flag there. We got oil down here. So I'm knocking it well off here. You can see the concrete dust down on the road there, absorbing the oil that was spilled. And again, an oil flag again there. Now back up to closer to race pace. This is the Glen Helen Hotel here. And Sarah's Cottage, a tricky corner. You don't want to turn too early there, or you'll run out of room on the exit. Which is true of many of the corners at the Isle of Man. You're often tempted to turn in too early. Now we're coming on to the Crunky Valley Straight. Very quick part of the course, and we're going back out into a very open, wide open, fast place of the course. There's another intimidating corner coming up. Handleys, you head straight towards this stone wall there, and just flick it right at the end. Much faster than you can take it, much faster than you think initially. This is top of Peguero there, a really breathtaking corner where the road just drops away. And right here at the bottom, you tend to bottom the suspension. It's a place where you try not to think about the strength of materials as you bottom the suspension there. You notice some of the riders have a white jacket on, and some of them have an orange one. The white jacket signifies a classic rider, who's a rider who may be on a slower machine, but should know where he's going. And the orange jacket indicates a newcomer who could be on a quicker machine, but may not know his way around yet. So it lets everybody pass accordingly. Now we're going through the village of Kirkmichael, well over 100 miles an hour through a little village with the noise reverberating off the walls. This section here is called Renko, very, very tricky section, deciding exactly where you peel off. It's one of the many corners at the Isle of Man where how you enter the first corner affects how you exit the last corner, and it becomes a compromise. And as you're entering the first corner, you've got to think about the exit, not the corner you're going into. You always have to think far ahead at the Isle of Man. Now we're approaching Beloff Bridge, famous humpback bridge where you get airborne, and undoubtedly you've seen the photos. Try to take it pretty steady there, just had a little jump. That's Gwen on the left there. She checks every rider every lap of practice in the race. Sort of the patron saint of the riders at the Isle of Man. A little jump there. You see the tachometer needle jump as the rear wheel comes off the ground. Quarry Bren's an extremely fast corner. It's the most marked change I've seen at the Isle of Man since I've been coming there. When I first came here, it was very dark and narrow and very bumpy, and now it's virtually flat out. This is the Sulby Strait. Again, one of the very quickest places on the island. Down through all the years. Ginger Hall. And now we're approaching Carramore. I'll have more to say about that later on. This is a very bumpy part of the course. You're dancing all over the place. Glen Tramman. It's sort of fun seeing the shadow running ahead of you here. What could be more beautiful than the Isle of Man on a sunny day? The sun can be a problem, though, and we may see this as we go up the mountain when the sun's dazzling off the windscreen in your eyes. Schoolhouse Corner. We're coming into Ramsey, the second biggest town on the Isle of Man. Down to first gear for Parliament Square. Very bumpy area through here, May Hill. Ramsey Hairpin, among the slowest parts of the course. the waterworks. Missed the gear again. I think if you rewind that, you'll see 16,000 on the tachometer. At first to second shift. The gooseneck, yeah, there you get the sun in your eyes. It can be definitely a problem with visibility. Probably a dry, overcast day is the best conditions for racing. But that sun does elevate the spirit, doesn't it? Now we're on the mountain section of the course. Very wide open, very fast. This is where the horsepower really shows with your long uphill poles. This section is called the Mountain Mile, and this is the real test of horsepower here. How many revs you can pull up this section here, and to a large extent, this is what you base your overall gearing on. How many revs you can pull through here. This is the veranda here. There's that pesky sun again. Got some traffic here going into the bungalow. Right down here we cross the tram tracks, right there. Now we're on Halewood Rise. We're going up to the highest point on the circuit here. The corner at the top is called Brandywell, and that's the highest point on the circuit. Here it's basically downhill from here. The next corner up is Windy Corner, very appropriately named. You often have a very strong crosswind from right to left through here. Not today, a very nice still day. This is the 33rd, place where it looks like you could just shoot off the edge of the earth if you misjudged it. That's Keppel Gate, where you used to have to shut the gate in the old days of practice. And now we're aiming towards the Craignaban Hotel. This is a corner where you want to go pretty nice and steady. You always got a big crowd spectating here, and it would be easy to make a fool of yourself by sliding off there. Now we're approaching Brandish. This is generally, I find, the quickest part of the course. You're going downhill and you've got very long straightaway. There's a little kink in the middle, but it's flat out. It doesn't really slow you down. These trees on the right is what I use for my brake marker. Now you're approaching Hilbury, which I think is perhaps the most breathtaking corner on the course. Very fast and very satisfying to get it just right. Carry that speed up this hill and around Clocknamona. This is Signpost Corner coming up here, and during the race at the grandstands you're signaled when you pass this point to give you give spectators notice of your approach. The Nook. Now we're approaching Governor's Bridge. A yellow flag up again, you see there. Yellow flag, concrete dust down. It's a place where you want to take it dead steady anyway. There's so little to be gained in a slow corner and everything to be lost. It's nice and steady. The place to make the time is in the fast corners. And now back on Glencountry Road, approaching start-finish line again. The line being right there. And there's the plug chop. And that ends Friday evening's practice for me. As I said, we'd be getting back to Carramore. That was practice, and in the actual race, I seem to be going a lot quicker than I did in practice, and perhaps quicker than I was really ready for, because my timing seemed to be a little bit off, and while well in the lead on the first lap, I turned a bit late for Carramore and ran out of room on the exit and hit the bank and ricocheted off the other side and into the hay bale in front of the light pole. Normally, as I approach Carramore, I use the yellow marker on the pole on our right, as you'll see as we come up in slow motion here, as my turning point for the corner. This yellow paint right there. And I turned a bit late, and because of that, ran out of room on the exit and clipped the bank right here on the right, dislocating my hip while I was still on the bike and ricocheting off. And the last memory was hitting the hay bale in front of the light pole there on our left. And then evidently I must have cartwheeled down the road and ended up somewhere right about here. I was helicoptered to Noble Hospital, and because of the quick and excellent treatment I got there, I was actually able to race at Steamboat Springs, Colorado 17 days later, and was lucky enough to win my race.
Now we intend to continue to run this bike from time to time. We invite everybody to come up and talk to us about it. We enjoy doing it. We hope everybody enjoys it as much as we do.
And I'll try and keep it up on 2 wheels.